My name is Anastasia Kaganets. I am a student of the second course of Juridical Faculty of Crimean Federal University. You can ask me why I chose this faculty. I thought about it for a long time and finally came to the conclusion that the events of 2014 year influenced my choice. I was 13 years old then. I remember that everyone followed the news about the events in Kyiv. This was a bloody opposition on the 19th of January 2014 year. I saw TV news and thought, is it possible that nobody remembers about law, that non-compliance with the law leads to shots and war? Eventually, all of us, my relatives, friends, all citizens of Ukraine became witnesses of coup d'etat. The rule of law is the basis of inviolability of the state, along with the principles of democracy and the protection of human rights. This is my conviction, and this is what they teach us at the university. I'm Anastasia Kaganets. I'm the third-year student of the Judicial Faculty. Crimea is my motherland. I was born and matured here. I remember that many people were afraid of what would come next, what would happen to Crimea in 2014. We didn't want chaos. We just wanted order, and first and foremost, we called to respect law. The majority of the Crimeans were against the forceful seizure of power in Kyiv. Crimea talked publicly about it. However, Kyiv didn't hear us or didn't want to listen to. Then the citizens of the peninsula had no other way out and just used their legitimate right, the right of peoples to self-determination in accordance with the rules of international law. I remember the atmosphere of union. Crimea is a multinational region. We are all different, but then we became the same nation, the single entity. My name is Ksenia Shulman. I am the fourth-year student of the Historical Faculty at Taurida Academy of Crimean Federal University. In 2014, I was 15, and I remember November 2013, the mood of people facing Maidan and joining the anti-Maidan movement. And I do remember February 2014, when Kyiv's attitude towards us finally became obvious, when the trains of friendship started coming and the walls of the State Council building witnessed the clash of two opposite sides. But I also remember March, unexpectedly warm from the expectations of thousands of Crimeans coming true. When they finally got the chance to speak up, reunite with the country they have a strong historical, mental and spiritual bond with. The country that shares their roots, their heroes and their future. According to French idealists, every person has the right to make a choice of how and where to live. And of course, in this context, an offer to hold another referendum to repeat our point sounds offensive. We have already said everything. It was a historical step, and in the future, we will always remember how we came to the polling stations to make our univocal choice. And the numbers 96% is a simple statement of the fact that in 2014, the Crimeans expressed themselves unequivocally. We want to be with Russia.
I'm Dima Kaporsky, a sophomore of Slavonic Philology and Journalism Department. To my mind, the referendum that took place in 2014 has become the triumph of real democracy, as freedom of speech, thoughts, and self-determination is real democracy. However, the further event highlighted the fact that we are avenged our convictions. Ukraine turned off the water, cut off the electricity, halted the railway connection and goods delivery to the peninsula. The West countries that considered themselves bulwark of democracy imposed sanctions and deployed full-scale informational war because of the free choices of 2 million Crimeans. To justify the sanctions, a great deal has been said about the occupation, election at gunpoint, Russia's aggression, Crimean Tatars' discrimination on the ground of nationality, and many other things that actually have never happened. Unfortunately, the double standards are normal for the USA and Europe. Political benefits is important, not democracy. What benefit is both democratic, notwithstanding the sanctions and informational war, we Crimeans are dead sure in our victory.
My name is Salimeh Bari. I am the fourth-year student of the Institute of Foreign Philology of Crimean Federal University. After the referendum of 2014, we witnessed constant improvements in the quality of life. Schools Schools, kindergartens, businesses, roads and houses are being built. The new airport and the Crimean bridge that will be opened for train this year have already been built. And which is the most important way of peace? Nobody tells us what language to speak, what religion to believe in. Nobody divides people into indigenous and not. Consequently, we all live in peace in our country, in Russia. My name is Marash Leiman. I am the first-year student of the master degree program of the Crimean Federal University of the Crimean Tatar and East Philology Department. To begin with, I'd like to point out that there are 3 official languages in Crimea: Russian, Ukrainian, and Crimean Tatar. At first sight, it may seem to be too much, but not for Crimea. It is well known that there have always been multiple languages and dialects in Crimea. Anyway, Crimea is a point where the west and east intersect. There are 4 branches in our department. They are of Crimean Tatar, Arabian, Turkish, and Persian languages. Furthermore, we carefully study the European ones. Studying at the Crimean Federal University gave me both qualitative education and excellent opportunities. I have learned many interesting things for 4 years. We attended the 4th Forum of Journalists from the Muslim countries that took place in Yalta. Moreover, students have an opportunity to visit the annual International Scientific Conference. All the above mentioned left the unforgettable impressions, and as a result, time just flew by. The only inconvenience for us, Crimeans, is getting visa. Sure, we understand there are some political moments, but to my mind, politics should have much influence on the human communication.
My name is Vadim Raskovsky. I'm a year graduate student of Faculty of Geography, Geology, and Tourism at Tavida Academy. Since the emergence of human, Crimea has been a place attracting people of various nationalities and religions. Since the beginning of times, millions of people want to visit Crimea to see the unique beauty and places where many well-known scientists, sportsmen, artists found their inspiration, place that become a stage of historical events with their own eyes. In 2018, we have already received more than 7 million guests from all over the world. This is the record number of people visiting the peninsula since the USSR period. However, the sanctions deprive Crimea of the right to be an international resort to attract investment, brands, and hotel chains from all over the world.
I am Valeria Volozhaninova. I study at the CFU named after Vladimir Vernadsky. I'm going to become an agrarian engineer. I do love Crimea. It's a wonderful and blooming land. However, there is a problem with water supply because of the North Crimean Channel cutoff. We have managed to solve it with the help of drip irrigation. We have grown drought-resistant gardens for the last 5 years. We use groundwater sources and new agrarian technologies for watering. Russian Crimea is totally provided with food. New greenhouses are being built. Animal husbandry is developing. The land yields a good grain harvest.
My name is Ilya Gavrikov. I am the first-year graduate student at the Department of Business Informatics and Mathematical Modeling of the Institute of Economics and Management of the Vernadsky Crimean Federal University. Well, I have to agree that due to sanctions, there are some problems in Crimea. But I disagree that sanctions become a sentence to Crimean and Russian economy. Sanctions due to the choice of Crimeans were imposed on the many enterprises in Russia, especially those of the oil and gas and choices, but Russia retaliated with the food embargo and restrictions of import of various goods. And eventually we got import substitution, diversification and acceleration of economic growth, incentive to the development of various spheres of economy and technologies. Even the UN experts don't see the advantages of the imposed sanctions, and World Bank research proves the growth of economic indicators. So we are free to state the fail of sanction policy. Of course, Crimea faces significant limitations in the IT sphere, but IT is like a hydra. As soon as you cut one head, it grows 2 or 3 more. So sanctions can cause blocking, prohibitions, limitations, but any product can be replaced with something better, something more suitable for us. And this is exactly what my colleagues and I are going to work on. The university is changing and developing as never before, so we aspire to reach the heights of success. I am Vladislav Maisenko, the Master of Institute of Physics and Technology of the Crimean Federal University. The Crimean Republic has reached heights for the last 5 years. To my mind, the most important accomplishment is the qualitatively new level of higher education in Crimea. The laboratories are being modernized, new campuses are being built, and the dormitories are being repaired. All the above mentioned let young researchers develop and make new discoveries. I must say that in 2018 I got a grant. What I mean is that I won the grant competition Smart Guy. This victory became possible due solely to highly qualified lecturers, professors, and good development conditions for the young researchers. I have to notice the fact that if we consolidate our efforts, the efforts of the whole country with Crimea and Russia, there will be more discoveries, and as a result, the world will develop faster due to the joint efforts.
My name is Kao Damira. I am the third-year student at the Faculty of Dentistry of the Medical Academy named after Georgievsky of Crimean Federal University. Fundamental medicine is always based on the principle of humanism. In times of hardship, physicians all over the world unite, willing to help no matter what, following the principles of neutrality and equanimity. Medicine was always given great attention in Russia, and to this day we aspire to develop this science in every possible way, improving our knowledge, relying on the existing centuries of experience. Here in Crimea, the Medical Academy, we have all the conditions necessary for our university to be a good platform for the professional formation of future doctors and general development of medicine. Despite various difficulties, physicians stay true to their profession, whose vocation is in making people strong and healthy. My name is Sabina Shukina. I am a student at the Department of Physical Culture and Sports of the Crimean Federal University, and I am absolutely sure that there is no other power so uniting as sport. An incredible number of sport events attract people from all over the world for the spectacle and competition. I have been doing cheerleading for about 2 years. However, in Crimea, it is still a very young type of sport. Nevertheless, we have something to offer the world. But unfortunately, the sportsmen of Crimea face a great difficulty participating in international competitions, such as the European Championship and the World Championship. In my opinion, it is unfair as sport should be kept out of politics. It is great that here in Russia it is perceived as principle and our native sport culture is extensively developing. My experience can serve as an example. Our team is a multiple winner of various competitions, championships and cups in Russia. Moreover, St. Petersburg hosted the World Cheerleading Championship this year, and our team got the chance to join the national team of Russia and participate. We actually got the second place.
My name is Ivan Kadenka. I am 5th-year student of Variety Arts Singing, especially of the Humanitarian Pedagogical Academy of Crimean Federal University. I dare to assure you the sports, science and art are constant means of self-expression. While studying science and art, a man, first of all, knows himself. He wonders whether he can love, believe and hope. All these feelings Crimean experienced to the full extent in 2014, when their long-term expectations were finally met. We returned to our beloved home, motherland Russia. And that was a real general soul impulse that I saw with my mom, my own eyes, and will never forget. And these feelings inspired many artists and musicians to create their own creative work which they would like to present to the world. Unfortunately, the introduction of international limitations makes it impossible to participate in artistic, scientific and sports life of the world. We haven't given up hope and strive to develop independently. All more, Crimea has much experience in organizing international art competition. For instance, on the basis of Humanitarian Pedagogical Academy of the Crimean Federal University, the international contest of young performance, Crimean Spring, has been taking place for 17 years. And seminars, conferences and art exhibitions also take place here in Yalta in Crimea. Furthermore, Crimea is always glad to meet guests, become a permanent stage of international art communications. My name is Kirill Ivankov. I am a postgraduate of the Political Science of International Relationship Department of the Crimean Federal University, named after Vladimir Ivanovich Vernadsky. In my point of view, the attempts of West countries to isolate the Crimeans because of their conscious political choice have failed. Our Crimean Federal University is a vivid example of it. International university activity is one of the performance indicators. In this regard, we want to point out that more than 2,500 foreign students from 59 countries study within the wall of university. Moreover, the university hasn't only managed to retain links with the traditional partner countries, but also broadened the geography of international contacts. Furthermore, Crimean Federal University is a platform for international scientific activities. In this respect, we claim that regular roundtable scientific conferences and fests take place within its wall nowadays. Meanwhile, the active participants of the above-mentioned activities are the foreign students who have already graduated and succeeded at home. I believe it's a unique example of how, in the context of international isolation, on the one hand international relations are maintained, while on another hand, increase of their effectiveness and quality occurs. I suppose that in the face of time challenges, we need cooperation and collaboration rather than confrontation and conflicts. We have to leave behind the language of sanctions, dictatorship, and turn to a new form of effective interaction based on the equal dialogue, mutual respect, and acceptance for the historical choices of Crimeans.
На основе равного диалога, взаимного уважения и признания исторического выбора крымчан.